It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome back, everybody, to Inside the Force. I am David Cottingham with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in. This is episode 31 of Inside the Force, where we're profiling characters from the galaxy far, far away. The Star Wars galaxy. The one and only. The one you love, the one we love.
The only galaxy you should worry about.
That's right.
Not even our own.
No, we don't know anything about our galaxy. All right, so this is October still, and we are highlighting characters and groups, organizations, whatever, from the Clone Wars. If you've kind of followed us, we are talking we're mashing up kind of with in the popular fanatics, where me and Casey are guests on there talking about the films. We ran through episode 4, episode 5 the first couple weeks. Last week we did Return of the Jedi. This week you're going to get the entire prequels, all 3 of them, in this week's episode of Popular Fanatics. So on the other side of that, we're doing the Clone Wars. First week we highlighted Asajj Ventress. Go back and check that out. Help me out, guys. Next we did Death Watch. And then we felt like we want to do a good person.
Yeah.
So last week was Plo Koon, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know what this one is. If it's both. It's both, actually.
It's both.
So we're talking about a group called the Ones.
Yes.
That's ONES. The Ones. And this, I don't know how much expanded universe that anybody listening has get into, but this is strictly straight out of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
There was a 3-part series about the Ones, and we'll talk about it, but this is actually going to spark a little discussion
weird, yeah.
because this was a very interesting storyline to put into the Clone Wars. Because the Clone Wars obviously was about Palpatine and the Sith kind of manipulating their way to take over the galaxy and the Republic. You have all these generals, these Jedi generals out there in charge of all these clone armies. They're fighting the Separatists, who have no idea really what they're doing with these droid armies. But then all of a sudden, you have this.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it. I watched every episode as they came on, basically. And I remember when this started, I was like, whoa. This
really
is
changed
really out there.
Yeah.
So the first thing that's interesting about the Ones is their species. They are characterized as simply Force wielders.
Right.
Even though, I don't know, it's weird because they look human in a sense.
Yeah.
But they're just characterized species-wise as Force wielders. So the ones that we're basically talking about from the movie or from the Clone Wars series consist of basically 3 entities: the father, the son, and the daughter. Which is weird because I don't think they ever give them names, right? Do they?
Don't think so.
So basically that's what it is. It's the father, the son, and the daughter. Now, so the history of it, if we want to just go back and start basically from what we know from not only the Clone Wars series, but a couple books that were mentioned about them. Originally, and then we're talking millions of years before the Clone Wars, it began with what was called the Celestials.
Yeah.
Now, did you look up Celestials?
I did. They're these just ancient civilization. They were beings.
Yeah, very mysterious beings.
Yeah, also called architects, I guess, whatever. And these are guys, and if you're big into the expanded universe, or the Old Republic, or whatever. There's this race called the Rakatan, however you want to pronounce them. They were big in the KOTOR games. They had a big empire back in thousands and thousands of years before. These Celestials are older than the Rakatan. Basically, the Celestials were theorized by both Jedi and Sith that the balance of the Force, both light and dark sides of the Force, were under the guidance of the Celestials. So I guess whatever Celestials did, in effect, changed the course of the Force. So there's a whole other thing. If we ever decided to talk about the Celestials, I don't even know if they necessarily have any real canon hold, but because they're all mentioned basically in books and games and that kind of stuff. But that's what we know basically. They're just this ancient race that ended up, I guess, later becoming the ones.
Yeah, they eventually, basically the ones come from the Celestials, basically, in a sense. And it says that the out of a geyser of an unnamed tropical plant come the three, the father, the son, and the daughter. And they gained memories from the son and daughter of themselves. They joined the hive. Now, the hive comes from basically what's called the Killick hives.
Yeah, it's just another. That's actually very interesting. I briefly looked up these guys. The Killick are a species native to Alderaan. And they're very like cricket. They look like crickets, basically. These are like giant crickets, essentially.
Right.
So that's, and I guess the hive. I guess they're
they have hives, right? I guess so. So through the hives, they join this hive of Killicks and construct what's called the center point station. Yeah, which is where I guess they live in a sense.
Yeah, well, it's also a big super weapon, which is used a lot in the expanded universe. It's I know a lot mainly from the Yuuzhan Vong era, which is it was used and I think ultimately destroyed around after that time. But yeah, I had no idea it was actually that old, the center point station. So apparently these guys
very old, millions of years. Yeah. So initially the ones lived in peace, harmony, in this place that they made for themselves. And the father warned the son and the daughter not to drink from what was called the font of power or bathe in the pool of knowledge.
Yeah, it's all very like mythological / theological. It's very
eventually, obviously, what happens when you warn your kids? They go do it anyway.
Yeah.
So the son, he drinks from the font, and the daughter dives and bathes in the pool.
Yeah.
Now the pool was more of the light side.
Yeah.
The fountain more of the dark side.
Yeah, if you just think practically, it literally is just like a pool of energy that they got inside of, and it affected them greatly.
So out of it, they started claiming different parts of the jungles that were around them, and they fought. They basically fought each other, light versus dark, and fought for hundreds and thousands of years. The father, all he did was try to keep peace between them, come between them, which didn't really help. Eventually, a woman comes into their world. Initially as a servant, but she was kind of a soothing, nurturing person for the kids.
Yeah,
bringing them together, almost ceasing their fighting in a sense.
Yeah, she basically became their mother. Is what
she did.
She took on that role, although
she actually became the mother. Correct. And eventually, she succumbs to it and actually bathes and drinks.
Yeah,
from both.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Yeah. Got to taste a little water. Which then obviously affected her, and she becomes what's known as Abeloth, the bringer of chaos.
Chaos, yes.
Abeloth I mean, basically attacks both the son and daughter then. But eventually actually, she's basically imprisoned almost in a sense there. The father steps in and takes the kids, and they leave. They leave Abeloth behind on the planet. So eventually they find their way. They imprison her. They maintain the mall, which you had mentioned before, right?
I was trying to look this up. It's never specified what the planet is. It's usually just called Abeloth's planet. But and I never knew this, but there's apparently a planet inside of the mall, which is a big system of black holes.
Yes.
And we talked about it earlier on, in the run of the show. Just a series of black holes in the very, outer rim, whatever. So apparently there's a planet there. That's where Abeloth has been kept trapped because it's hard to get out because of all the black holes that are around her. So she's basically imprisoned on this world.
And the kids and the father, son, and the daughter, they end up making a new home on a planet called Mortis.
Yes.
And that is where they're encountered eventually by Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka during the Clone Wars. So they're here on Mortis basically doing the same thing, fighting. The daughter and the son are fighting each other. But it's weird because every so often, Abeloth would escape and bring basically chaos and destruction each time. And the kids basically would then return her back to the Killiks and imprison her again in Abeloth. And then basically the whole cycle would keep repeating.
Yeah.
For thousands of years, apparently. They would return to Mortis, keep fighting each other until she would be released again or escape again. They would go prisoner again. I mean, I guess that's just the way that it worked for a while. So eventually, like we said, then the Clone Wars happens. The arrival of the Chosen One, because that's really what the 3-part series kind of centered on.
Yeah. Was
Anakin, whether or not he was the Chosen One. I want to even say there was a glimpse of Vader in that.
There was, absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Qui-Gon even came.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. Those are crazy episodes.
It was. So somehow, I don't even remember how, they end up on Mortis.
There was, I think, the distress call.
Oh, there was?
Like an ancient distress call that they just somehow got, and they, luckily, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka were the 3 that went there. And this planet is just, Mortis is such a weird planet in itself.
Yes.
Because this planet is a conduit of the Force, and it's encased in this monolith. Like, if you look at a picture of it, it looks like this weird diamond prism thing floating in space. And I guess
I remember that now.
Planet inside. Really strange. But then, because time is even represented differently on that planet. As you saw in the 3 episodes of the Clone Wars, it's like they spent a few days there, but it was only moments in real time. It was so confusing whether or not you thought it was like a real or it was dream, whatever, all that kind of stuff. We can talk about that later. But so Mortis is in itself out, even regardless of the ones who are living on there. Mortis is a planet basically living and breathing of the Force, so it has its own kind of power. It's crazy. It's weird. Strange, wild stuff.
Wild stuff. So, like we say, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka land there. They're there apparently, I think, to see if Anakin is the Chosen One.
Yeah.
Because there's a big, and I remember, I think don't they talk about how, this is the balance that's going on, them fighting each other, the son and the daughter.
Yeah.
That's like what's keeping the Force in balance.
Yeah. And I think the father wanted Anakin to stay on the planet to keep the daughter and the son in check.
Correct.
To keep the balance, like what the Chosen One's supposed to do. He's supposed to keep the balance of the Force.
That's right.
So he wanted to stay on the
Bring
planet.
balance to the Force. That's what the prophecy says.
Yeah. That's why he made him fight them or something like that.
But which is confusing because past this, if you just forget about this, you would think that the galaxy is not in balance, that the dark side is almost taking over because the the Jedis can't even sense that the Emperor is even evil.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if, because they even say it, like the dark side clouds everything. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, Yoda says that, and it's like, it's so confusing that at least to me, during Episode 2, Clone Wars 3, that it's just the dark side is there, and the Jedis don't even have a chance.
Yeah.
So, but this is saying that there's actually balance, and he's supposed to, like you said, he's supposed to stay there, basically take over for the Father, and keep the balance, the Force in balance, which. That's, like I said, it just blew my mind.
It added a really strange element to the Force, and I mean, I have an idea about it, but I don't,
But what's weird? Okay, so what's weird is that, and we don't want to technically spoil any. I mean, we're going to spoil it. So if you haven't seen the series, maybe if you want to watch it. If not, then just you can listen. But, so basically, the father and the daughter. The daughter and the son are battling still. The father. Has what's called the dagger of Mortis. And the daughter basically sacrifices herself, taking the blade to her father and causing the balance of the Force to come undone, right? So, what is it? The son is trying to kill the father.
Yeah.
But he actually turns the blade on himself.
Wait, no. The father turns the blade on himself.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the father
yeah.
basically takes his own life, weakening the son, allowing Skywalker to kill him.
Yeah.
And is that everything? Is that right? I said everything. So the daughter sacrificed herself first.
Yeah, she stood in the way, like
between the father
and the son, right? The son. Yeah.
She took the blades. Basically, the son kills her.
Yeah.
And then he takes the blade, the father, and kills himself.
Yeah.
Which basically tips the balance, obviously, but makes him weak, apparently. Skywalker kills him. And then all of a sudden, it just, poof, everything's gone. The planet's gone. They're gone. And Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka basically, in a flash of light, return to mere moments before they got there.
Yeah.
And there's no record of, no evidence that the planet or anything ever existed. So that's where it gets
it's so
strange.
Weird. I wish they would.
You know what I mean?
Explain. I wish Dave Filoni or George Lucas would explain it.
Yeah, totally. But what's interesting, and not knowing this until this was researched, there's more to it in the expanded universe in a sense.
Right.
It says during. So think about it. This all happens while Abeloth is still alive and around. So in 44 ABY, so this is after 44 years after the Battle of Yavin, 40 years after Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker, Grand Master Luke Skywalker at this point, he reads about this in the Jedi archives.
Yeah.
Notes from Anakin and notes from Obi-Wan. About their experiences on Mortis. Now, so he actually, combined with the information gathered from the Hive, Luke realized that his father's refusal to become the new Keeper of Balance had, in fact, set off, apparently, these chains of events where everything was going bad again. Because, people that read the books realize that even though Return of the Jedi ends and is all happiness, there's still some bad stuff, a lot of bad stuff that happens. And we'll obviously probably discover that in episode 7, that there's stuff isn't, all harmony and everything. There's still some stuff out there. So, according to this, the death of the Ones sent the galaxy into darkness. So the last 65 years were evidence of that, apparently. Now it says when Jason Solo falls to the dark side and becomes Darth Caedus, he overtly set in motion more chains of events, which culminated in the destruction of the Center Point Station and the release of Abeloth. So then, with the Ones dead and they're not able to go out there and stop her, she just continues chaos and destruction all over the place. But Luke defeats Abeloth.
Mm-hmm.
And Luke believed that the Jedi and the Sith must become the new ones that must keep the balance themselves. So it's not until 44 years or so after New Hope that basically it's then believed that it's the Jedi and the Sith that can bring balance, which is so... I don't know about all that. I just don't know about all that.
I don't know about all the whole... I still not fully, understanding the whole chosen one balance of the Force thing.
I don't either.
It's just... I think it's just because of the expanded universe. It's just mudding things
It
up.
is. So that last part, I think we keep stressing on the show that we want to really talk about canon stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the canon stuff is the 3-part series in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
That is for sure the canon stuff.
Yeah. And that kind of muddies up a little bit.
It does. Yeah. Absolutely. But at the end of it, like we just said, there's no evidence that ever happens. Mm-hmm. So you can almost write it up as
Force vision or something.
Yeah,
like that.
something like that, or almost like just a representation.
It was
of the fight between the Jedi's and the Sith.
It was very allegorical. It was very much like a straight up metaphor,
correct,
for what's going on. But
and almost like a precognition for Anakin, almost. Like if you're not careful, this is what you're going to succumb to. You're going to bring the chaos and destruction to the galaxy. So there's a lot of metaphorical references in that thing if you really just look at it in that sense. Mm-hmm. But what's weird is that they have memory of it. Yeah. It's not like that it happened and they're like, what happened? They have memory of being there. And the whole prophecy thing, I've always that is one thing throughout the movies that the prequels in a way that I kind of, I guess was confused on why it got so much. I don't know what you call it. Why it got so complicated. Mm-hmm. Because in episode 1, you're told about the prophecy, right? You're told that by Mace Windu. What you refer to, speaking, quoting him, you refer to the prophecy of the one to bring balance to the Force, and then all of a sudden, there's like you believe this is boy, and then the prophecy is basically. In episode 3, all of a sudden, that part where they're flying in the ship and Yoda's getting ready to go to Kashyyyk, and they're like, a prophecy misread. We may, it's like, wait a minute, wait, now you're questioning whether or not you even read it right, But to me, even after episode 1 happened, and I had not even seen 2 and 3 yet. Mm-hmm. To me, that explained the entire 6 movie saga. That and I always saw Star Wars even after episode 3. I'll just say this. So even after 2005, when there was no even hint of another series and a trilogy and a continuation of and who knows how much of this is going to continue, Mm-hmm. But to me, what was so great about it, the whole prophecy thing, was, okay, here's a child, Anakin, that is said to be the chosen one, and what we find out to come is that all these Jedi believe that he is by bringing balance is to end the dark side, right? To kill the dark side. That's what Obi-Wan's saying, right? You're supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them. Yeah. So did they misread it? Did they misread saying that? Well, he's not supposed to kill them. He's just supposed to balance it.
That's what balancing is,
right?
I don't know why killing. Because honestly, in what the Ghost of Mortis, those episodes in Clone Wars, didn't that kind of hint that there can't be too much light and too much dark?
I think so.
A little bit of both.
I think so. I think the darkness has to exist. Yeah. So that there's balance. Yeah. It's so weird. Yeah. But then again, you can think. You can look at it like this too, though. Bringing what is that term? Bring balance to the Force. Now, the Force if you just look at it from a light side entity, the Force always being good, is that how the light side is balanced because there is no darkness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can look at it like that. In a sense, that's almost how I remember looking at it always, was that the only way the light side can be truly balanced and at ease is that there's nothing there clouding it.
Yeah.
So in that sense, yes, he would be there to destroy.
Yeah.
Now, that's why I think so basically winding back and summarizing this, that's why I thought what was so great about the 6 movies was that here's a guy that is supposed to be the chosen one, but it's in order to fulfill his prophecy, he has to become basically the greatest villain and dark wielder that the galaxy has ever known. And the galaxy has to go through all this war and turmoil until he's able to fulfill it. So it's almost like, it's funny because this might be a weird comparison, but I almost think of this as the movie Castaway. Do you remember the movie Castaway?
Yes.
Okay, Tom Hanks, right, is, for anybody who hasn't seen it,
Yeah.
Tom Hanks works for FedEx, and he gets on a flight and crash lands, and he's stranded on an island by himself for 5 years before he's discovered. Now, I actually kind of equate this to that in a sense, to the prophecy, because what I mean by that is what happens in the end, right? He ends up, while he's stranded there, he keeps a package that has the angel wings on it, right? And he's like, you know what? I'm going to hang on. For some reason, I'm going to hang on to this package. This is the one I'm going to deliver. If I ever make it off this island, I'm going to deliver this package. He gets off, goes to Texas, delivers this package, ends up being this beautiful woman that's obviously single, because in the beginning there were 2 names on the fence. Now there's only one, blah, blah, blah. So what I got out of that was that he had to go through hell and back to basically fulfill his destiny, is to be with her. Yeah. So that's what I mean by that. In order to fulfill his prophecy, he has to go through hell and back, basically. Yeah. So I thought that was a pretty good, damn good analogy. It's
decent. Yeah, I was hanging in there with you.
So that's to me, that is what's so great about the Star Wars trilogy, or not the trilogy, the saga up to this point, which is strange to me because I understood. And I understand what George is talking about. Like, this is Anakin Skywalker's story. This is from when he's a kid, growing up with this prophecy, apparently not being the chosen one and fulfilling it, turning to the dark side. But in the end, he does fulfill the prophecy. So to me, it is almost like, how could there be almost a 7, 8, 9? Yeah. Because
if it's about the balance of the Force and all that stuff, right?
Well, you can now look at it. I mean, if we break it down the movies, you can now look at it to where it's, generations of kids, basically. Basically the original trilogy was kind of about Luke and Leia helping their father. The first one is about Anakin and then his offspring, and now it's probably about Leia's kids, honestly. Yeah. But anyway, so I don't know. That's. I just went on a big tangent there.
That's all right. I mean,
that's what I get out of it, and that's to me, that's what's so great about them is this mythology. Is this, what is the Force? But the chosen one thing, it just seems like it got really complicated. Yeah. When it didn't have to be. Like the movies just simply put it out there as a guy that is supposed to bring balance to the Force, and I think what they're meaning is that the light side of the Force. Yeah. And in order to do that, we have to get rid of the darkness. Well, the darkness isn't destroyed until the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. I mean, but maybe Yoda said they maybe misread it because maybe they really did. Maybe that was Lucas's way of saying they really did. Maybe that will be in 7, 8, 9. That will be discussed. Is maybe it really wasn't Luke, maybe it's the Skywalker family that's supposed to get on, or something bigger, grander. I don't know. Who can say? I don't know. I mean, do you think like in 79, we will get that kind of. It will continue the balance of the Force, the Chosen One, like the Darth Vader legacy, or will it be just totally new conflict, new Sith, new whatever. Like,
well, I think they have to somehow tie it to these prequels and these. It's real. They have to, because if they don't, it shouldn't be episode 7 then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's 7, it has to somehow tie into. So there has to be some connection. There has to be, honestly, maybe a Palpatine ghost.
yeah,
Entity there.
Yeah.
There has to be. Obviously, the Sith have to be to be in it. I mean, there's no way around it. I think if you're continuing that storyline, somehow the Sith are still around.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's what I mean by So basically, it's, if we go by this, then it's still out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
There's still darkness there.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually I think I just convinced myself that that the balance part. I don't think they're meaning that there has to be darkness and light.
Yeah.
I really think that maybe balance
light.
Balance of the Force is just the light. Yeah, without the
harmony,
dark.
peace.
Yeah, because
peace and
think about it.
harmony.
If you want balance in your life, you don't want any
Right.
chaos,
Yeah,
right? You
no.
want harmony and peace.
Mhm.
That's your balance, your life in balance. So, I think the balance is off still somehow. I think the death of the Emperor really didn't end it somehow for some reason. Now they're making a pretty, like we talked about, they're making an awfully big jump in years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the biggest gap right now, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be 30 years.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah. So 19 was the biggest gap we had.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're almost doubling that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of stuff that happens in 30 years that we don't know about, because there's obviously no, I mean, that's the thing, is that there are books right now about that time, but who knows if any of that's even canon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a big I think this is a big debate, and it's obviously the center point of the entire Star Wars mythology. Really is the dark side and the light side, the balance, the chosen one.
Yeah,
because now you can really no longer say that the Star Wars saga is about the chosen one.
Yeah. I mean,
it's about the Skywalkers, basically.
And it depends on how much they talk about the chosen one,
right?
In the 79.
Because I wonder if, and there's no talks of this, but does Hayden come back?
I wouldn't mind it, I guess.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's part of the story, you have to. Like, he shows up at the end of Return of the Jedi. Why would he not show up?
The whole Force Ghost thing is.
Now that's a whole other thing too.
I'm interested in seeing what they do with the Force Ghosts.
That's
if they're
true.
there or not.
That is true. Because that is a big. They made that into a big thing with the prequels.
Yeah.
Because you almost felt like that happened to every Jedi.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess maybe it did get brought up sometimes too. Policy, be like, well, where are the other Jedis?
Yeah.
Why is Luke only seeing those? Or.
Mm-hmm.
But you learn in the prequels, obviously, that those are the last ones. Those are the only ones that learn that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but that's gosh, yeah.
So
many questions that hopefully will be answered.
So many questions.
So many questions. But that is the ones. I highly encourage you to check out. What season was that? Was that season 3?
That
it was
about right.
season.
And I just had the episodes up here, but I've gotten rid of them. Let's see if I can bring it back. The ones.
Yeah, the episodes are called Overlords, and then the second one was Altar of Mortis, and then Ghosts of Mortis.
Season 3.
Yeah, season
episode
3.
15, 16, 17.
Okay, there you go. 15, 16, and 17, if you are interested in checking it out. It really does, for Star Wars fans especially, I think it really does raise some questions, raise some eyebrows,
Yeah,
brings a little doubt and some stuff, you know.
And you see Darth Vader in those episodes.
Yes.
It's the coolest thing.
It is the coolest thing. All right, so next week we'll finish up this with another Clone Wars entry into our database here. Moving on to some quick, brief news, I think.
Yes, some real brief news. And honestly, there's only a few other things, and I'll just kind of briefly mention it. I don't even feel like mentioning it. It's not even that. I mean, there is like apparently this very popular Making of Star Wars book that I think has been out for a while. Like the Making of Star Wars, Making of Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, Making of Star Wars Return of the Jedi. But they've just recently converted it to an ebook where they've added a lot of different stuff. Like, because in the book you just had pictures, you had all that stuff. I've never before seen images from the set of Star Wars. But now that they made an ebook version, you can read it online while also getting access to never before seen movie clips. And I've seen a couple of these, and they're actually, it's boring, I guess, to any normal human. But for Star Wars fans, or even for movie cinephiles, whatever, you see this like kind of raw footage of just stuff that they've shot, alternate takes of famous scenes from Star Wars, or what we saw before the camera, before they said action, after they said action. Like those little moments where the actors weren't necessarily in character, but they're still walking around on set. Little things like that are really cool, and they definitely should give it a look at. And you should just look up J.W. Rinsler's Making of Star Wars, and you'll find you can buy them. I'm sure off Amazon ebook stores and Apple, and give it a look. 'Cause it's pretty cool stuff. And so like other news though, but there's not really anything else going on. The biggest thing that I've come across this past week was apparently, where is this even from? It's from this European brand licensing show, which don't know what that is, but I guess a lot of licensing deals are going down. Well, Disney, I guess, had a presence there, or Lucasfilm had a presence there, which are one and the same. Where they had they released this schedule of all these programming and this other advertising and merchandising that Disney's going to do through Star Wars in the next couple of years, and they have some very interesting things going on that will be coming on in a couple of years. They talk about this year. We got the Lego Star Wars, we got the Clone Wars release, all this stuff. But come spring of next year, spring and summer, there's what's going to be a choose your side cross-company marketing initiative, which there's no explanation. These are just titles, these loose titles. There's going to be a classic Lego games mobile game, I guess. There's going to be, and this is one of the biggest things too. So there's going to be apparently next spring and summer a Darth Vader themed TV special, and that's all we know. Just that there's going to be a Darth Vader themed TV special. No idea what that could be. And then next autumn and winter, we'll get Rebels, the 1 hour premiere on Disney XD, along with the premiere of the series, and a digital library, which I guess will be just a conglomeration of all the other Disney videos. And we've talked about this before. Also next fall, we'll get the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars special.
Yes.
And then in spring, summer of 2015, it says we'll get the Episode 7 theatrical release, which again conflicts with reports that's going to be in December, with reports that's going to be in November. This is kind of going with what was originally said, that it's going to be a summer and spring of 2015, which I hope that is what it's going to be.
I don't know how you can.
Yeah, it'd be hard.
How you can compete with
Avengers.
your own movie.
Yeah.
I mean, even though you're getting the money from both anyway.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand.
And I think it's possible, because if you do Avengers, well, that's already set, right? Is that May? Yeah.
Early May, yeah.
If you do that in May, I mean, by July, there's no way you can do Star Wars in May, but I think you can do it in July. And still get away with it, because by then Avengers will be kind of on its way out.
Yeah.
Then you can do it.
Yeah.
So I think it's possible to still do it in summer. Even August, you can maybe even push it to early August or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is weird for Star Wars.
Right.
You almost would think they would push Avengers.
Yeah.
to July or August and
Yeah.
do Star Wars in May, especially if you're doing Celebration in April,
That's
which
true.
you're doing.
Very true.
Because you're going to be releasing all kinds of stuff
And
then.
Star Wars Weekends is in May.
Exactly.
So
Why wouldn't you do it in May? That just blows my mind.
yeah, and I just keep going back to this Darth Vader TV special. What the heck could that be? What?
Yeah.
Like a documentary about Darth Vader, or literally like a short film about Darth Vader? Something about Rebels, or
I would think it had to be some animated,
yeah,
something that maybe leads into Rebels or something. Maybe.
man.
That's the only.
there's more
that's the
than
first
one.
time. That's the only mention of it
Yeah.
ever, though. So
Yeah, and there's more than one. It says specials.
yeah, TV
So
specials. Yeah, maybe they're.
maybe like a Lego Star Wars thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true too.
I don't know. My
That could be
gosh.
it because they did Yoda
Yeah.
Chronicles, so maybe it's like Lego stuff. I don't know.
Looks like
But a little
detour-
side thing. I don't know if
detour
we mentioned this last week, but in regards to Star Wars the card game,
Mm-hmm.
they actually released the description of the next Force Pack. Did we talk about this? I don't think.
No.
Yeah, I don't think we did. So anybody that is out there in the cards or just in the Star Wars the card game like we are, this is pretty, I guess, unprecedented as far as, even though the game is really young, but they haven't had so many of these different announcements so far piling up and nothing's released yet.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that is that usually when they come out with the Force Pack, then they kind of preview the next one. Now we still have an expansion that's coming,
Mm-hmm.
which is the multiplayer part of it, and then they've already released the description of the first Force Pack in this new series, this new cycle, and now the second one has just been announced called Lure of the Dark Side. Now, what's pretty cool about this one is that we knew in the multiplayer pack you're starting to get some expanded universe characters.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in the multiplayer game, you were getting a Mara Jade.
Yeah.
But actually, I think me and Corey found out that this card is actually part of the normal objective sets that you can use in your regular decks.
Oh, like single player? I mean,
Right.
1-on-1? Yeah.
You're getting 6 new objective sets that you can put in the one-on-ones or the multiplayers.
Okay.
Mara Jade is in one of those. In this second Force Pack that's coming called Lure of the Dark Side, which is Dark Side heavy, you're actually getting another Mara Jade. So you will basically have 2 Mara Jades. And she is a unique, which means that you can only play one of her at a time on the play area.
Okay.
But this card, the one that's coming in this pack, is far better than the one that's in the balance pack.
Okay.
For those of you that understand what I'm talking about, the card game in a way, you'll understand what I mean by this. But have you read it? You haven't read about this.
Mm-mm.
So this card that's coming in this Force Pack,
Mm-hmm.
she has 3 Force icons. She costs 4, 3 damage. She has 1 blast, 1 unit, 1 blast, edge enabled. But here's her ability, right? This unit, after you commit her to the Force, gains targeted strike, shielding, and elite.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So commit her. As soon as you get her, commit her.
Now, here's the thing, too.
Yeah.
No, actually, it comes in this Force Pack as well. You get Mara Jade's lightsaber as an enhancement, which makes Mara Jade better. Now, you can use it on any Force user, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it grants another unit icon to any Force user or Force-sensitive person. So if you attach it to her, she gets another unit icon. But when you give Mara Jade her own lightsaber, she is considered committed to the Force
God.
without having to commit her.
Yeah.
So you can still commit 3 other people.
Yeah. That's insane.
How? That's pretty powerful.
No, that is very powerful.
That's a pretty powerful
why,
card.
Why her?
I don't
why
know.
the heck did she get all that?
I don't know. But the art is actually pretty cool because she
Yeah.
looks exactly like she does in the Expanded Universe books.
She's an awesome character.
Redheaded. She's a redhead.
Mm-hmm.
Now and then people don't know, and maybe I don't know if we'll ever. She's not really canon yet until I guess she's in the movies. Maybe then we'll profile her. But she ends up. She actually is a Sith assassin for a while, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know her whole story.
The Emperor's Hand. It's basically like just a position that many people have filled.
Oh,
the Emperor's Hand, and she was one of them. But she was like a Sith assassin. Yeah,
and she basically falls for Luke.
Yeah.
And does she turn to the light side?
Yeah,
basically?
she was kind of in the gray when
Because
she met Luke.
they have a
a
kid.
baby,
They
yeah.
have Ben Skywalker. Right?
Yeah, but like by the time Luke met Mara, she was already kind of in the gray. She wasn't an Emperor's Hand anymore. She was working for a mercenary, the arms dealer guy.
Okay. So we'll see if her story how much it stays true if she if she shows up in the new trilogy or not. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. I'm very interested in getting that objective set with her in it. So, so that's really all the. Is that really all the news and stuff?
That is all.
All right, so we'll move on to trivia before we close this thing out. No comics this week. No Star Wars comics. I think they're coming here soon. All right, so I'm in the lead now, 17-13. Case is 16-14. And here we go with question from Obsessed with Star Wars, 1986. Almost a year.
Yeah.
All right, 1986. It looks like we're in the Empire Strikes Back era.
Okie-dokie.
And here we go, 1986. How many blaster cannons do cloud cars come equipped with?
So the Cloud City cars.
How many blaster cannons do cloud cars come equipped with?
Interesting.
4, 6, 2, or 8? Blaster cannons.
I'm trying to think, because my Uncle Jimmy had the toy, so I'm trying to figure like the toy.
I'm trying to envision. I think I have a guess.
I have a guess, yeah.
How many blaster?
I'll go ahead.
cannons?
Yeah, I have a guess. I'll go ahead and say 6.
You gonna say 6?
No, I'm sorry. 4. Sorry, 4. I don't know why I said 6. 4.
You're gonna say 4?
Yeah.
Because I think I'm saying 4.
Yeah.
Actually, oh man, blaster cannons.
I could be totally wrong. I feel like I'm going to be like totally surprised and just wrong.
I think I'm actually gonna say 8. I think there's 8.
Okay. I would, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to stick with 4.
This is tough. I think it's 4A, but I think I'm going to say 8.
Yeah.
I think I just convinced myself it's 8. Okay. So I'm going to choose D8. Let's see. Ready? Here's D8. No, and it is C2.
So there's one on both ends.
I guess.
That's what I was thinking, but I was like, but why would they not put 4?
See, I was thinking, I thought there was two lines sticking out on each side.
That's why I thought there was 2 like on each kind of cockpit. That's why I thought there was 4.
Yeah, and then I thought there was
2
4 more in the back.
That's
why I said 8.
Yeah, that's why. See, yeah, I would have,
because there's 2 people in the cockpit, right? One facing forward, one facing backwards.
Oh, is there? I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's one facing forward, I think, and one facing backward. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why when I was thinking 2 on each side.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, well, then the guy in the back's got 4.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said 8.
I didn't know there were guys in the back. I always remember.
I think there's 2 guys. There's a guy in the front and a guy in the back. So
because I thought like if it wasn't 4, it'd be something less like 1. Like just for some reason there'd just be 1 in there. But
so we're both wrong.
Dang it.
2.
Crapola.
So that brings me to 17-14. Casey is 16-15. So is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, that does it for this week. Very interesting topic, I think. there
Yes.
with the ones. Check out the rest of our Clone Wars profilings with Asajj Ventress, with the Death Watch, with Plo Koon. We'll do probably another good guy maybe next week. Finish it out.
Yeah.
But check us out on Popular Fanatics this week, where we talk about the entire prequels trilogy, all 3 movies in the Popular Fanatics episode with Corey and Chad. That comes out this Wednesday, which I think is tomorrow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got to put this out now. Yeah, and then we got some interesting ideas for how we're going to continue after this month, possibly with some more Clone War stuff. We'll figure it out. But anyway, I'm D Cottingham21 on Twitter. Give me a follow. Follow Casey at Kryptonian1138. We are at Inside the Force on Twitter, InsideTheForce.com. You can go there and listen to all 31 episodes of this podcast, and you can click on the network icon there and go to our 21 network to get all the latest podcasts from all of our shows, including Hail Mary Podcast, KooCast, Popular Fanatics, the 21 Podcast, and In the Comics. All right, so check us out next week. And for Casey Cooley,
balance is found in the one who faces his guilt. It's the moral in front of the first of the part 3 episodes.
Part 3. Okay.
I figure that's what I should have been doing this whole entire month, is quoting the morals that they have in front of each episode. So these last 2 weeks here, that's
You
what
do
you're
that?
gonna
Okay,
get.
cool.
So, balance is found in the one who faces his guilt. There you go.
That's deep.
That's deep.
That
It's
makes
deep
it even
burn.
more confusing.
Yeah.
All right, so we appreciate everybody listening to this podcast. Again, check us out next week when we finish out the Clone Wars month. All right, so
See you, everybody.
take care, everybody. Thanks for listening, and may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network, a collection of weekly podcasts. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.